Please stand for the presentation of colors and the singing of the national anthem.
Color guard, hold. Running, face. the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's first gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please take your seat. Welcome, class of 2022, family and friends, distinguished guests, faculty, and staff, to the 2018 WSOM Convocation and White Coat Ceremony. It is my great honor to introduce the President of WSOM, Dr. James Nemitz.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ward. Wow. Man, it's great to see everybody here on this incredible morning. Good morning, everyone. Please join me in thanking Sergeant First Class Smith and the Greenbrier East Junior ROTC Color Guard. Also, I want to thank second-year student Nicholas Bennett for singing the national anthem for us today. Wasn't he fantastic? Woo! And of course, I want to thank the Greenbrier River Brass Ensemble and Jeff Bryant. Good to see you. Well, good morning, distinguished guests, returning alumni, students, faculty, staff, family members, and friends. And welcome to those family and friends who can't be with us in person today and are watching this event being broadcast live around the world on the internet. Welcome to the 2018 Convocation and White Coat Ceremony in our beautiful Student Center. It's so great to be in this space on this incredible campus. This morning, we gather to welcome the newest members of our family, the students of the class of 2022. This morning, I am pleased and honored to be joined on the platform by many distinguished guests. I would like to take a moment at this time to recognize a number of the individuals on the stage. So I ask the audience to please hold your applause until I have finished. And I ask each individual to rise as I announce your name. So, Charles Davis, D.O., Chair of the Board of Governors of WVSOM, Class of 1982. Our keynote speaker, Naomi Wriston, D.O., a member of the first graduating class of WVSOM, the Class of 1978. Robert Alexo, D.O., President of the WVSOM Alumni Association, Class of 2001. Arthur Rubin, D.O., President of the West Virginia Osteopathic Medical Association, class of 1979. Craig Boyceford, DO, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean. Edward Bridges, PhD, Vice President for Administration and External Relations. Benjamin Kastenbauer, President of the Wvsom Student Government Association. And Stephen Veselski. I knew I was going to mess up. Sorry about that, Stephen. Vice President of the Wvsom Student Government Association. Now, please join me in welcoming these individuals. I would also like to recognize several individuals in our audience who are friends and supporters of Wvsom. Again, if the audience could withhold their applause until the end, and for the individuals to stand to be recognized as I call your name. Members of the Wvsom Board of Governors: Robert Holstein, DO, class of 1979, Vice Chair. Cheryl Schreiber, Secretary. John Manchin, DO, class of 1978, Member at Large. Gary Poling, DO, class of 1988, Member at Large. John Garlitz, DO, class of 1997, Faculty Representative. And Locke Tran, OMS 3, Student Representative. In addition, we have members of the West Virginia Legislature with us, Senator Stephen Baldwin. I think Delegate George Boogie Ambler's here, and Delegate Jeff Campbell. Mayor of Lewisburg, John Manchin. Larry Ware, Vice President for Finance and Facilities. Marilee Butcher, Vice President for Communications and Administrative Affairs. And Leslie Bixler, Vice President for Human Resources. Let's give them a big round of applause. I would be remiss if I did not recognize several very important groups of people without whom this morning's ceremony just would not be possible. Their work and preparation, we start planning convocation a half a year in advance, getting ready for this. And their work and preparation put forth on countless tasks to make this morning's celebration as great as it can be. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking our maintenance and housekeeping staff, the media services and communications departments, the OK catering staff, and all of the other staff members who helped to put this event together. We truly have a great team here at Wvsom. So, members of the class of 2022, our convocation white coat ceremony not only welcomes you to the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine, but it also welcomes you into the community of osteopathic physicians. This is a really special year in the history of Wvsom. It is the 40th anniversary of the first graduating class. When that first class of 33 graduates walked across the stage to receive their diplomas and doctoral hoods, it also marked the end of Dr. Roland Sharp's service as the first president of Wvsom. We are gathered here today on this incredibly beautiful campus on this glorious day because of the dedicated hard work of Dr. Sharp, our founders, Drs. Apgar, Bales, Newell, and Wallington, and many others, including those students who took an incredible leap of faith to attend a small, unknown osteopathic medical school in Lewisburg, West Virginia. Dr. Sharp was truly the epitome of an osteopathic physician who practiced medicine into his 90s, serving rural West Virginia with dedication. And the graduates of the first class went on to serve their patients with distinction as well. And this year, is very special to me, as many of you know, as I begin my tenure as the 7th president of this amazing institution. You, the members of the class of 2022, now enter into this rich tradition and will become a part of WVSOM's legacy, a legacy that includes being one of the best medical schools in the nation and the leader in graduating physicians who practice in rural America. The white coat symbolizes the beginning of your 4-year journey into the osteopathic medical profession. You will need to earn that white coat every day of your career. It comes with awesome responsibilities and obligations to your community and to society as a whole. Putting on the white coat will not transform you into an osteopathic physician. There's a lot of hard work that will be required of you to earn that white coat. It will require growth, both intellectually and emotionally. And in time, you'll make that white coat your own. So work hard, class of 2022. And as I told you at rehearsal, have a vision for yourself. Imagine what you're becoming. See the end point and go after it. And you'll be great. Congratulations. So would the faculty and staff please stand? Class of 2022, these are the individuals who will work tirelessly to help you earn your white coat. Please join me in thanking them for all of their hard work. Thank you. You know, and just as important for you is your support system of family members and friends, many of whom are here today, to help you meet the demands of obtaining a medical education. So what I want the class of 2022 to do is please stand and express your thanks for their continuing support of your efforts. Thank you. Okay, and now, if you could please take your seat. I would like to introduce our first speaker. Please welcome the chair of our Board of Governors, Dr. Charles Davis.
Thought I only did that with my wife. Whoa. Okay. Class of 2022, welcome. And congratulations on being admitted to one of the best medical schools in the entire country. It's a true honor and privilege to be standing in front of you here today. You have chosen well. You've chosen a profession of service and sacrifice in an excellent school to learn not just academics, which is really important, but also the art of serving. The example of service is established from the top down here at WVSOM. As chair of the Board of Governors, we as a board had the responsibility of serving the school, making wise decisions for our sustainability. One of the most recent decisions that we've had to make was to instate a new president, Dr. Jim Nemitz. His heart for this student body and devotion to the school are significant. Evidenced by the last 32 years of his life that he's invested at WVSOM. The Board of Governors are extremely excited to see him reach this level of servant leadership. Knowing his heart is not about his position, but instead his purpose. And your purpose should be similar. Learn to serve. Learn to serve your classmates. Learn to serve your community. And eventually, you'll end up serving your patients. The next 4 years are going to be very challenging, especially the first 2. I know that real personally. Lots of ways. Trust me. You'll get the most of your education if you find ways to care for each other. Be that friend that checks up on the classmate when they don't show up for school. Be the person who takes time to listen to someone who's struggling. Being an excellent physician is not just about leading the class in academics, although that's important. It's really leading and serving. And as I enter into the winter of my career, as I enter into the winter of mine and you enter the spring of yours, I can tell you what gets me up every morning after 31 years of doing ophthalmology, other than a 7:35 tea time. It's the opportunity to change lives. Serving my patients is not only my purpose, in my profession, it's my passion. And I believe that what we do for ourselves dies with us. And what we do for others lives forever. So you have chosen a worthy You've chosen a worthy and noble profession. Congratulations, and welcome to the family.
Well, thank you, Dr. Davis. Next, please welcome the president of the Wvsom Alumni Association, Rob Alexo Dio.
Well, thank you, and good morning, and greetings from your Alumni Association. Now, students, it is true that when you enter into the medical profession, you are starting a journey. However, this journey will last you the rest of your life. And it can be a tough journey. There are going to be ups and downs. There's going to be twists and turns. And there can be multiple outcomes to this journey. So it's going to be interesting. But I want you to remember one thing. Ultimately, what shapes us to be a great physician is the sum of all of your experiences, good and bad. And those experiences start from day one, because medicine is learned both in the classroom and at the bedside. So it's going to be interesting, and I want you to pay attention. I want you to listen to these experiences, and I want you to learn from these experiences and let them shape you into the best osteopathic physician that you can be. Now today, you'll be receiving your white coat. This coat is a symbol of our great profession. From your Alumni Association, once again this year, we are honored to purchase these coats and start you on your journey. We are also proud this year to announce that this year is our 40th anniversary, so you have many proud alumni who come before you. And from the Alumni Association and from your alumni, we pledge that we will help you any way we can along this journey. And we are already looking forward to graduation day, when in a few short years, you too will join one of the elite groups in America as alumni of Wvsom. Congratulations and good luck. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Alexo. Our next speaker is the president of the West Virginia Osteopathic Medical Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Art Rubin, DO.
Good morning, class of 2022. Can't believe I'm saying that number. My name is Dr. Art Rubin, and I bring you greetings from the West Virginia Osteopathic Medical Association. This weekend is always a very special time for me. It was 43 years ago this month that I started as a first-year medical student at Wvsom. I was fortunate to be in the second class to graduate in 1979. Our class of 40 students was much smaller than yours. The facilities and the resources were not exactly the same as those you see on campus today, to say the least, but we had the same hopes and aspirations that you have today, and that is to become outstanding osteopathic physicians and to provide quality care for our patients, regardless of which specialty we might pursue. My class quickly seized upon the State Society as a resource for both mentors and role models. The Society's numbers were small at that time. There were only between 60 and 80 DOs in the entire state of West Virginia, but they were strong and they were dedicated individuals who had helped to establish a medical school in West Virginia at a time when many were not familiar with our osteopathic tenets. The West Virginia Osteopathic Medical Association stands ready today to be your professional family during your studies in Lewisburg and beyond. Our West Virginia osteopathic community provides each of us with inspiration, motivation, and a sense of belonging to something important. After practicing pediatrics for 27 years in Charleston, West Virginia, my hometown, I assumed the position of Regional Assistant Dean in Wvsom's statewide campus system 9 years ago. It is an honor to serve my alma mater, and you students are the reason that I have a smile on my face each day that I go to work. You are now the newest members of the osteopathic family in West Virginia. You are our future. I wish you only the best of luck as you set out on your journey today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rubin. It is a privilege and honor to have with us today Naomi Wriston, DO. Dr. Wriston is a graduate of the class of 1978, the first graduating class at Wvsom. She is currently the Assistant Medical Director with Ohio Health Employer Services in Columbus, Ohio. Her clinical practice includes executive physical exams for international companies. She is board certified in family medicine and occupational medicine and is a fellow of the American Osteopathic College of Occupational and Preventive Medicine, serving as a board trustee. Dr. Wriston is a clinical associate professor with the Ohio University Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine. She also served as a clinical assistant professor with the Ohio State University College of Medicine. She served as president of the Columbus Academy of Osteopathic Medicine and as chair of the Department of Family Practice at Doctors Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Wriston practices in medical mission trips to Honduras and Mexico. She is a native West Virginian from Fayette County who taught high school physics and chemistry in Oak Hill, West Virginia, prior to attending Wvsom. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Dr. Naomi Wriston, DO.
Good morning. When Dr. Nimitz invited me to speak at your convocation, he suggested that I discuss three things. What was it like for the first class? What was it like to be a woman in medicine at that time? And to give you encouragement, not challenge, as the incoming class of 2022. At your graduation, you will read the Osteopathic Oath, which includes the following. I will look with respect and esteem upon all those who have taught me my art. To my college, I will be loyal and strive always for its best interests, and for the interests of the students who will come after me. I hope to do that today. In 1974, 31 men and 5 women arrived on campus. Most of us were non-traditional students, teachers, pharmacists, etc. And we did what you did when you were accepted. We came to Lewisburg to find a place to live. There were not many apartment buildings. I remember one. If we were single, we rented a room in homes. The married ones rented trailers, upstairs apartments, or small houses. I only remember one restaurant in Lewisburg, Court Street, either called Court Street Restaurant or Court Street Cafe. And what medical student can afford a restaurant every night anyway? So Gwen, the owner of a general store, began cooking huge pots of food in the back room and would feed us for a nominal fee. And John Hibler, who's in the second class with Art Rubin, said she charged us $1.05 and later raised the price to $1.25. And WVSOM, it was one building. It is the building that houses the president's office and the dean's office. But it was our classrooms, it was our labs, and it was our library. The custodian put up dark plastic over the tall windows of the old military school in order that we could see through our microscopes to slides in the histology class. The OMT, or now it's called the OCS, was taught in the former dining room of the military school. And the anatomy lab was in the basement with no ventilation. My understanding is yesterday you had your first lab. We reeked of formaldehyde at the end of each lab. It was certainly nothing like the beautiful campus you have now, or the anatomy lab with ventilation and plasticized models. So WVSOM in 1974 may not have been considered the ideal learning environment. However, the real question then, as it is now for you, will WVSOM give me the education I need to become a good physician? Sir Isaac Newton, a great mathematician and scientist, once said, if I have seen farther than other men, It is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Who were my giants? My family, the ones who supported my dream. My mom and dad, my brothers, my aunt and uncle, who did what they could to help me. My high school biology teacher, Mr. Wvsom, who considered me a bright, conscientious student. And when I said I wanted to become a doctor or a teacher, he shared with me that he had wanted to become a doctor. But at that time, it would have been near impossible for a black man to go to medical school. Another giant was Dr. Donald Newell Sr., one of the founders of Wvsom and my mother's physician. He called the school, by the way, that was before HIPAA, I can share that he was my mother's physician. He called the school to send me an application, and he wrote my letter of recommendation. Then there was Dr. Roland Sharp, the first president, who taught our histology class and told us stories of cases he had managed in coal camps. And he retired, as Dr. Nimitz mentioned, when he got our class through graduation. I hope all my giants know how much I appreciated them. I went back to tell Mr. Eves that I'd become a physician for both of us, but he had died by then. Remember to thank your giants at every opportunity. What was it like to be a woman in medicine? When I started preparing for this talk, I realized I only knew 2 women that were physicians. One was Dr. Sheila Rogers, who taught us EKG interpretation, and one was Dr. Ruth Purdy in Columbus, Ohio, who was my first mentor during my first rotation as a third-year medical student. She had been the first intern at Doctors Hospital, and she developed and introduced the first ICU in Columbus, Ohio. During my 4th year, a pulmonologist in Florida said, "I will never call a woman doctor." And when we would go to the bedside, he would introduce the male intern, resident, students as doctor, and he would introduce me as Miss Naomi. He was probably teasing me, and he eventually called me doctor when I answered a question that none of the others could answer. But it still stung if you're a 4th-year medical student. I think with the news today, we still have a ways to go relative to discrimination. But we have more female role models. The discrimination is less obvious, and male mentors and female mentors who will push back. Remember, there were 15% of the class that I entered with women, and in most medical schools today, 50% of the class are women. Who else were my giants? The osteopathic physicians and teachers at that time. Although small in number, one of them mentioned that there were 60 to 80. They founded a medical school. They supported the school through their finances and through teaching, and they rallied enough political influence to become a state school. This was during a time when many MDs and many MDs and many hospitals were not receptive to osteopathic physicians. The osteopathic family was determined the school would succeed and that we students would get a good education. Many physicians who flew in from across the nation, remember there were 36 of us, right, would actually give their checks back to the school to support it. And the osteopathic hospitals in Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois provided teaching rotations. They fed us in the cafeteria of the hospitals, and they housed us either in hospital-owned apartments or previous patient rooms. We traveled to a different location every month, and usually a different state, our third year. And our education continued. Then comes March of my senior year, 3 months before I would graduate, and I wondered if I had really learned what I needed to be a physician. After all, Wvsom had not been the most traditional of training facilities, nor typical rotation schedules. A patient was on a ventilator, and I went to the thoracic surgeon, an MD, and said I feared the patient had Pseudomonas pneumonia. And the surgeon blew me off. He said, I don't think so. That patient died 2 days later of Pseudomonas septicemia. And I knew. I had been taught my medicine, and I had learned what I needed to know. Remember I told you one of my giants was my family? That was my father, Wvsom Wriston's parting gift to me. A humble coal miner from Fayette County, West Virginia. He did not get to see me graduate, but with his death, he gave me the awareness of my knowledge, a passion to practice good medicine, and confidence in myself as a physician. Now fast forward to my second year of practice, and an older colleague asks me to see one of his patients who has stopped having her periods, and he thinks it might be stress. And your thinking as a doctor kicks in. And you remember the old doctor's saying, you probably rolled your eyes when they said it, listen to the patients and they will tell you what is wrong with them. And the patient says, I think my neck is getting thicker and my voice deeper. And you remember the physiology classes from Dr. Blatt and all those masculinizing hormones. And you remember that stinking anatomy lab and where those organs are located. And then you remember your clinical dean, Dr. Joe Rogers, saying, palpate first, except for the abdomen, and then listen with your stethoscope. So you palpate, as you have learned in your osteopathic clinical skills. And as you go down the ribs, you go, are the right ribs a little more spread than the left ribs? It's so subtle. And you have an aha moment. The patient has an adrenal tumor. As a matter of fact, the patient has an adrenal cancer, and it is diagnosed and removed while it is still encapsulated, and you are ecstatic. You made a difference. But the applause goes to WVSOM. Remember those first 2 years of classes I've brought into this, and your esteemed teachers who have served you and your patient well. I expect you already know from my presentation there is nothing more exciting to me than the profession of medicine. One of your classmates said to me, "I know I have an extremely long journey, but I think I chose the right school to get me there." Do long years, long evenings of study, the missed movies, the hospital food swallowed quickly, make a difference? Is it worth it? I can tell you, for me, for my family, and for my patients, it has made a great difference. It has been well worth it. WVSOM is now a beautiful campus from the contribution of founders, alumni, presidents, faculty, friends of the college, and you have begun a wonderful journey. I ask if any of your giants are present today, that you thank them before they leave. That you thank your teachers, your mentors, and your professors as you go through your training. In closing, I wish for each of you a great journey with the many joys, the aha moments, the grateful patience, and the soul-satisfying knowledge that you have made a difference. We welcome all of you as part of the extended family of WVSOM and the osteopathic profession.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wriston. And now, for the main event, our white coat ceremony. Will Ben Kastenbauer and Steve Veselski approach the podium? And will the first row of students rise and approach the stage?
All right, we'll get started. First up, Layla Abdallah, being quoted by her uncle, George Zuricott, MD. David Aboud, being coded by his mother, Carolyn Bullock Dio. Wvsom, being coded by Elizabeth Ziner Dio. Zohaib Ahmed, being coded by Elizabeth Ziner Dio. Maxwell Hole, being coded by Elizabeth Ziner Dio. Anam Alam, being coded by Dwight Bundy Dio. Christopher Anciano, being coded by Dwight Bundy Dio. Sarah Arbus, being coded by Rob Alexo Dio. Michael Archer, being coded by his mother, Lynette Archer, MD. Stephanie Arnold, being coded by John Marsh Dio. Brandon Arnsberg, being coded by Rob Alexo Dio. Brooks Arthur, being coded by Kevin Miller, MD. Dina Asali, being coded by Dina Shaper, Dio. Kian Azimpor, being coded by Rob Alexo Dio. Chad Backus, being coded by his father, Charles Backus, Dio. Safia Bajwa, being quoted by her father, Tanvir Bajwa, MD. Andrew Baker, being quoted by Rob Alexo, DO.
Elizabeth Baker, coded by Art Rubin, DO. Jacob Baker, coded by John Johnson, DO. Samantha Bangug, coded by her father, Samuel Bangug, MD. Jamie Basham, coded by Catherine Calloway, DO. Caitlin Bellinger, coded by Art Rubin, DO. Sanjana Bendy, coded by Art Rubin, DO. Austin Bennett, coded by Art Rubin, DO. Melanie Bennett, coded by Art Rubin, DO. Alexander Bivac, coded by Charlie McClung, DO. Sean Binks, coded by Charlie McClung, DO. Brendan Blackford, coded by Tony Ann French, MD. Peter Blake, coded by Chrissy Hendricks, DO. Russell Bonasso, coded by his sister, Adriana Klein, MD. Josiah Bosley, coded by Chrissy Hendricks, DO. Alexandra Bowman, coded by Andrea Nazar, DO. Taylor Boyer, coded by Andrea Nazar, DO. Alina Broughton, coded by her mother, Tony Ann French, MD. Kristen Brown, coded by Andrea Nazar, DO. Michael Brown, coded by Andrea Nazar, DO. Rex Birkland, coded by his father, David Birkland, MD.
Aaron Bazinski, being coded by Marla Haller, DO. Brendan Camp, being coded by Marla Haller, DO. Jeremy Campano, being coded by Marla Haller, DO. Natasha Carrero Mercado, being coded by Marla Haller, DO. Alexis Cash, being coded by Marla Haller, DO. Abigail Cerrone, being coded by her mother, Kelly Cerrone, MD. Munpreet Chahil, being coded by Rachel Johnson, DO. Sharon Ann Cherian, being coded by Rachel Johnson Dio. Logan Cheshire, being coded by Rachel Johnson Dio. David Chow, being coded by his father, David Chow, MD. Jane Chuang, being coded by Rachel Johnson Dio. Dakota Klauser, being coded by James Wright Dio. Matthew Clune, being coded by his father, Michael Clune, MD. Alexis Colson, being coded by James Wright Dio. Taylor Cochran Sutton, being coded by James Wright Dio. John Collins, being coded by James Wright Dio. Erica Comdor, being coded by Dina Shaper Dio. Mitchell Condom, being coded by Dina Shaper Dio. Adam Cook, being coded by Dina Shaper Dio.
Aubrey Cook, being coded by Dina Shaper Dio. Joseph Cooper, being coded by Maple Landvoigt, MD. Alexa Corso, being coded by Rita Dewan, MD. Austin Cox, being coded by Maple Landvoigt, MD. Sean Craze, being coded by Maple Landvoigt, MD. Philip Croce, being coded by Maple Landvoigt, MD. Ria Dave, being coded by her father, Mitul Dave, MD. Aaron Davis, being coded by his father, Charles Davis, DO. Brock Davis, being coded by Maple Landvoigt, MD. Adriana Donati, being coded by her father, Louis Donati III, MD. Tyler Doty, being coded by Tony Ann French, MD. Cameron Duba, being coded by Abigail Frank, DO. Diana Duong, being coded by Abigail Frank, DO. Tommy Young, being coded by Abigail Frank, DO. Ryan Dutil, coded by Abigail Frank, DO. Brittany Irwin, coded by Chrissy Hendricks, DO. Hafsa Farah, coded by William McLean, DO. Kamal Faraj, coded by William McLean, DO. James Faulkner, coded by William McLean, D.O. Graham Frederico, coded by P.K. Kryachik, M.D.
James Farrick, being coded by P.K. Kryachik, M.D. Erva Fuku, being coded by P.K. Kryachik, M.D. Thomas Fisher, being coded by Hillary Hamrick, D.O. Quinn Flack, being coded by Hillary Hamrick, D.O. Ryan Flynn, being coded by Hillary Hamrick, D.O. Nathan Foran, being coded by Hillary Hamrick, D.O. Alexandria Foster, being coded by James Hawley, D.O. Nathan Fravor, being coded by James Hawley, D.O. Samantha Garrettson, being coded by James Hawley, D.O. Kirsten Gateless, being coded by Kathleen Martin, M.D. Nicholas Genovese, being coded by Kathleen Martin, M.D. David Gerlach, being coded by Kathleen Martin, M.D. Anna Gillen, being coded by Kathleen Martin, M.D. Caitlin Goss, being coded by Tony Lou, MD. Christopher Goss, being coded by Tony Lou, MD. Paul Gray, being coded by his brother, Carl Gray, MD. Fady Grease, being coded by Tony Lou, MD. Brooke Grill, being coded by Tony Lou, MD. Jack Grossman, being coded by his father, Michael Grossman, MD. Akash Gupta, being coded by his uncle, Roshan Matthew, MD. Jasmine Garan, being coded by Tony Lou, MD.
Madeline Carol Gwynn, coded by Joe Pack, DO. Jacob Haig, coded by Lauren Miller, DO. Brittany Hancock, coded by Lauren Miller, DO. Rhett Happel, coded by his father, John Happel, MD. Casey Harmon, coded by Lauren Miller, DO. William Harris, coded by his father, William Harris, DO. Aaron Harvath, coded by Emil Skobelov, MD. Olivia Holodnik, coded by her mother, Jane Salamore, MD. Robert Horner, coded by Charles Davis, DO. Daniel Halls, being coded by Lauren Miller, DO. Elena Hunsinger, coded by Lauren Miller, DO. Marissa Sujung Her, being coded by Vicky Schumann, DO. Gage Hurlbert, being coded by Vicky Schumann, DO. Nimra Imam, coded by her father, Talha Imam, MD. Aaron Jonas, coded by Vicky Schumann, DO. Virginia Jarvis, coded by Vicky Schumann, DO. Vinod Duratnam, coded by his sister, Vindhya Duratnam, DO. Christy Johnson, being coded by Vicky Schumann, DO. Oladoyen Joyla Oye, coded by Jocelyn Mann, DO. Blake Jones, coded by Jocelyn Mann, DO. Sarah Jones, coded by Jocelyn Mann, DO.
Nathaniel Jordan, being coded by Gary Poling, DO. Ali Carr, being coded by Jocelyn Mann, DO. Sharmista Carr, being coded by Jocelyn Mann, DO. Jacqueline Khalil, being coded by Fauci Khalil, MD. Augusta Kipper, being coded by Scott Marshall, DO. Elaine Koberline, being coded by her brother Alex Koberline, DO. William Kohler, being coded by Scott Marshall, DO. Tyler Conan, being coded by Scott Marshall, DO. Ravali Kundetti, being coded by Shrivani Angadala, MD. Vincent Lamantia, being coded by Scott Marshall, DO. Eric Lucas, being coded by Scott Marshall, DO. Amanda Malnikoff, being coded by John Marsh, DO. Henry Monigat, being coded by James Poff, DO. Caleb Martin, being coded by James Poff, DO. Diana Marzuk, being coded by James Pock, DO. Ruba Mateen, being coded by James Poff, DO. Stephen May, being coded by James Poff, DO. Abigail Mayfield, being coded by Don Swift, DO. Steven Mazibrata Jr., being coded by Don Swift, DO. Lisa McKinney, being coded by her father, Tom McKinney, MD.
Gunja Mehta, coded by Don Swift, DO. Noel Meller, coded by Don Swift, DO. Jason Miller, coded by his father, Bradley Miller, DO. Kelly Miller, coded by Edward Hamrick, DO. Shannon Miziak, coded by John Garlitz, DO. Jonathan Mitten, coded by John Garlitz, DO. Katya Morgan, coded by her mother, Luda Lioshka, MD. Joshua Morin, coded by John Garlitz, DO. Ryan Murphy, being coded by John Garlitz, DO. Billy Murray, coded by Fawaz Shah, MD. Christopher Mussel, coded by John Garlitz, DO. Hassan Muzaffar, coded by his father, Ramet Muzaffar, MD. David Nye, coded by Lisa Hurtke, DO. Molly O'Neill, coded by Ronald Lutke, MD. Garrett Parsons, coded by Lisa Hrutke, DO. Mitchell Peebles, coded by Lisa Hrutke, DO. Jacob Pence, coded by Lisa Hrutke, DO. Ethan Powell, coded by Sheila Borick, MD. Thomas Gage Powell, coded by Naomi Wriston, DO. Haya Kutob, coded by her father, Haya Kutob, MD.
Shaban Rana, being coded by his father, Izar Rana, MD. Landon Redding, being coded by Naomi Wriston, DO. Jacob Redden, being coded by Joanna Bailey, MD. Sarah Reed, being coded by Naomi Wriston, DO. Heather Reeves, being coded by Naomi Wriston, DO. Christopher Richards, being coded by Leslie Buchanan, DO. Dennis Rugdio, being coded by Leslie Buchanan, DO. Matthew Santer, being coded by his sister-in-law, Caitlin Santer, DO. Ahmad Sater, being coded by Leslie Buchanan, DO. Patrick Sawyers, being coded by William Boyd, DO. Abigail Sedgwick, being coded by Leslie Buchanan, DO. Genevieve Sell, being coded by Leslie Buchanan, DO. Ali Shashabar, being coded by David Beatty, DO. Justin Sharp, being coded by David Beatty, DO. Lauren Shelton, being coded by David Beatty, DO. Christina Shen, being coded by David Beatty, DO. Gregory Siebenaller, being coded by David Beatty, DO. Christopher Silsky, being coded by his father, Richard Silsky, MD. Matthew St. Jean, being coded by Jessica Smith Kelly, DO. Kelsey Steele, being coded by Christopher Conrad, DO, and Justin Spratt, DO.
Sam Stein, coded by Jessica Smith Kelly, DO. Matthew Taylor, coded by Jessica Smith Kelly, DO. Tarek Tyon, coded by Jessica Smith Kelly, DO. Matthew Tilley, coded by Eugene Hamill, MD. Rochelle Toppings, coded by Jessica Smith Kelly, DO. Trevor Tusing, coded by Robert Pepper, DO. Emily Van Antwerp, coded by Robert Pepper, DO. Mary Velagapudi, coded by Robert Pepper, DO. Rochelle Vincent, coded by Robert Pepper, DO. Cade Walker, coded by Robert Pepper, DO. Junyu Wang, coded by James Wading, DO. Justin Ward, coded by James Wading, DO. Simranjit Wusir, coded by James Wading, DO. Samantha Weiss, coded by James Wading, DO. Hannah Wheeler, coded by James Wading, DO. James E. White III, coded by Thomas Richardson, DO. Jazz Whitaker, coded by Thomas Richardson, DO. Chelsea Williams, coded by Thomas Richardson, DO. Connor Wilson, coded by Thomas Richardson, DO. Michael Wilson, coded by Thomas Richardson, DO.
Alexander Woinski, being coded by Celia McClay, DO. Benjamin Wolf, being coded by Celia McClay, DO. Alfredo Wong, being coded by David Leach, DO. Benjamin Woodward, being coded by John Quinlan, DO. Prashant Yadav, being coded by Celia McClay, DO. Jordan Yaki, being coded by Celia McClay, DO. Michael Nicholas Yost, being coded by his brother Mark Yost, DO. And lastly, Ada Young, being coded by Celia McClay Dio.
Well, good morning. Don't you look good in your white coats? It's a pleasure to be part of your ceremony, which marks the beginning of your entrance into the medical education as you prepare to enter into the osteopathic profession. These next 4 years will go quickly, and before you know it, you'll be gathered here again in the May of 2022 to receive your degree and begin your careers as osteopathic physicians. On behalf of the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine, I would like to officially thank the Wvsom Alumni Association for providing the white coats to the class of 2022, and the Wvsom Foundation for providing the embroidery of your name on them. Join me in giving them an applause. I also want to recognize and thank the officers of the class of 2021 and the officers of the Student Government Association, as well as other student leaders for their participation and assistance in the ceremony today. And now, will the members of the class of 2022 please rise for the Osteopathic Oath of Commitment? And please repeat after me. As I begin my studies at the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine, I commit myself to a life of learning, compassion, and service. Seeking always to contribute to the human and scientific accomplishments of medicine. I will accept the responsibilities and privileges accorded a student physician with humility. Fostering the trust and respect of my teachers, colleagues, and patients. I will address ethical and moral issues openly and honestly, no matter how difficult they may be. In all things, I will conduct myself with the utmost personal and professional integrity. Knowing I will be looked to for leadership in the community. I understand that healing involves the body, mind, and spirit. And I will continually strive to become a physician who integrates all aspects of a patient's life into their care. I commit to a life of growth, to always expand my knowledge, and to strengthen my understanding of human health and behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2022. Following the ceremony, family and friends are invited to tour our campus and enjoy light refreshments, which will be served in the technology building lobby and the Alumni Center up here on the hill. Please remain in your seats until the stage party, faculty, and students have processed out. Maestro, strike up the band.